to this lofty peak, where Tempest dwells, a noble birthplace. It is time.
Yes, Megatron. Yes.
Too much energy.
Maximize.
Alert. Quantum surge detected. Vector 597.
No, not that. Ah!
Greetings, Snaximals and Breadicons, to another episode of Too Much Energon, a Lasercomb production. Welcome to episode 40. Episode 40?
Episode
Already?
40.
It's been 84 years.
I actually just shared that on Twitter today.
That it's 84 years?
that GIF, yeah.
Oh, you used the Titanic GIF?
Yeah. It's been
I love that.
84 years.
All right. On Too Much Energon, you've got two fine hosts. Christopher Siege and someone else that I'm sure I'm replacing. No, it's Christopher Siege and I, NeoCal. And today we are reviewing Feral Scream Part 1 and 2. Feral Scream came out January 24th, 1999. And then 1 week later for Part 2.
Yeah,
Siege.
imagine that.
How is the siege since our Too Much Energon listeners have last heard and seen you?
I've had the kind of day where a few things have gone wrong, we shall say, and I'm not feeling super great either, so...
All right, well, luckily we have a stellar couple of episodes to chipper you up.
Oh, yes.
The cream of the crop.
Two episodes that I am not... I have no enthusiasm for whatsoever, as it is.
I'm sure there's some talking points that aren't complaining about how convoluted what is happening is going on. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes.
So the gist of these episodes is just like
some Frankenstein bullshit.
Yeah. Do you want to jump into it? Megatron's doing some Frankenstein bullshit.
Yeah, this is a two-part episode, so I think we'll kind of skip our usual
off-topic
bullshit at the beginning and just dive right into it.
Yeah, there'll be lots of off-topic during, I'm sure. So something jarring happened to me, and I thought I was just being weird, but my partner confirmed it too. Our initial thought at the very beginning of this episode is why is Waspinator hauling a giant tampon? Something about the way it's shaped, and I paused it and I was like, does that look like, you know what, never mind. And she's like, a giant tampon? And I'm like, you too? Okay. No, it's a stasis pod.
It's a stasis pod. I didn't make the tampon connection, but now that you pointed it out, I can't see anything.
You can't unsee. You can't unsee it.
No. So yeah, Waspinator and Megatron. Well, Waspinator is flying around carrying this giant tampon.
I do like
Megatron's
the line
in tow.
when they Maximals. It's just for some reason it's just Megatron and Waspinator on the Predacons, and Optimus and Cheetor. Just
Yeah.
those four bump into each other, and I do like the line when Megatron is like, "Waspinator, quickly protect that stasis pod with your life, and I'm like,
uh,
and,
he's got to have his DinoClone. Damn it, DinoClone 2. Yes.
and I expected Waspinator to be, yeah, that's a thing. I expected Waspinator to be like, sparkless stasis pod worth more than Waspinator.
I mean, yeah.
So, Cheetor has a sniper rifle that shoots missiles,
That's
and he shoots Optimus with it.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He shoots a bullet out, but it's actually a missile. It misses Waspinator, and it hits the cliff where Optimus is on.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, and
That's how the
Optimus
Preds get away.
is like, wait, Cheetor, no. And then Optimus makes a hilarious face, which I think I'm probably gonna make the show art for this episode. He's just like,
When the bullet's coming for him, the
yeah,
missile.
yeah. Um uh, even in his
He
optimal
makes
form, Optimus
he
still
makes
has
some
the
funny
best
faces.
still has the best facial expressions in the series.
Yeah, he makes some funny fucking faces this episode. These two episodes.
And yeah, the sniper missile that Cheetor fired blows up the ledge, knocking Optimus down. And Cheetor's like, "Oh no, Optimus!"
Like, where were you aiming?
What was he even aiming at? Like it's not like he just like, I don't know, like he misses Waspinator and then like some debris or something takes out Optimus. No, he blows up the fucking ground, like from beneath Optimus's feet. Like, what are you doing, kid?
Which, as we know, is when you blow up rocks next to somebody, that does way more damage than actually shooting them. Yeah,
Oh
what
yeah.
was he doing? I thought he was trying to pull like a sniper trick and like shoot the cord hanging from Waspinator,
Mm.
but then it turned into a missile. I was very confused.
And yeah, I don't know. Apparently this fucks Optimus up quite a bit, but I'm like, dude, like Optimus can fly.
He could fly, so why does falling off the cliff?
It fucks him
Also,
up
he's
pretty
had
bad
debris
too.
fall on him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's had debris fall on him before, and he
This is
shrugged it off.
this is the show where like characters can be flattened like pancakes by rocks,
Or ripped to shreds, to ribbons,
or
which
just outright
happens later.
incinerated.
Or blown. Oh, yeah.
And they're usually not the worse for wear, but yeah, Optimus is bad news bears, as you would say.
Yeah, he is. So I thought it was very poetic, but then I found out that he's just quoting um, Frankenstein when they
Oh
do
yeah,
their experiment.
totally, yeah.
I was like, is he just quoting, or is this like, Shakespeare in the Park moment? The whole carved into this lofty peak moment where Tempest dwells and a noble birthplace to this noble birthplace or something. And I'm like, and I Googled it and I was like, oh, he's literally quoting Frankenstein. Okay.
You're just like, I better Google this because this writing is way too good for this show.
Yeah. Whenever the writing is too good, it ends up actually being like a Hamlet.
Yeah.
Or some Shakespeare and
In this
or
case,
like
it's
old movie references.
Yeah, in this case, it's Mary Shelley.
Yeah,
Uh,
the author.
yeah. I have a pretty nice copy of Frankenstein, which I've never read, but it's sitting around
Oh.
here somewhere.
Oh, cool. I've never read it. I have Dracula, and I've never read, and I need to get on that. And I would like to check out Frankenstein.
All the
It's just called
literary classics.
Frankenstein, or is it called like Frankenstein's Monster, or is it called Dr. Frankenstein? I never know what the original is.
I think it's just Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I think the actual title is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Mm. Like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Boris Karloff's
Waspinator,
Mummies Alive. You remember that show?
um, I, because of you, yes. I remember, fucking Clive Barker. Clive Barker's name is in front of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Tom Clancy. Imagine like you become so famous that like your name is part of the title.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully someday I get there.
One day, soon.
Laser Combs Rainbow Six. Yes.
Laser Combs Rainbow 6-2. COVID Boogaloo.
Laser Combs Rainbow 69.
Rainbow 69. There you go.
Uh,
Rainbow 64. Rainbow
there you go.
69. And then the subtitle, nice.
That's like, yeah. Rainbow 69 : nice. Oh god.
I would read that. I'm just saying. You know how there's like a comedy genre of old classics? Right? Like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh
Or
yeah.
what's the original one? Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. There was that genre that was really cool for like 3-4 years. If you did like a spoof like Tom Clancy novel and named it like, I don't know, like Rainbow 69. Nice.
Actually, I got a shout
would
out
pick
on
that up and read that.
I got a shout out on a podcast that I used to listen to. It's not around anymore, but a podcast that I listened to like around that time because like they were basically like they were asking for pitches for like those kind of stories, and so I wrote in a
Okay.
pitch called Charles Darwin Beast Tamer. uh, and it was
I like it.
about Charles Darwin was like traveling the world like fighting monsters, and like his I can't remember, his right hand man who in real life was known as Darwin's bulldog could actually like altered beast into a giant like bulldog.
He's a were dog.
Yeah.
That's great. Altered beast. Power up. Oh. What a wild video game.
I've actually beaten that game.
I have not beaten it. I have come like so close to beating Super Ghouls and Ghosts, though,
Oh yeah.
and I've never beaten it. Fuck, that game is so hard. And the RG, like the random parts of it are. Did you ever play that Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
Yeah, I think it's on the SNES Classic, like the mini console,
Yes, it is.
which I have one of. So
You can set the lives to 99, and that motherfucker is still. You need patience.
you need the
And
Konami
then-
code, damn it.
And then I beat it, and the princess is at the end is like, "Oh, well, you were supposed to find like this elixir, and to like change you. So it's somewhere in your travels. Maybe you can pick it up." And the game resets. Like it's still the same game, but because you didn't finish it a certain way, you start over. And I was like,
Do you remember
something to do with the when you're naked, right? And then you get armor, and then you get like powered up like blue armor, and then you get gold armor.
Yeah.
And I think there's like one beyond that or something, and you're supposed to find a special item somewhere in like one of or more of the levels, power yourself up, and then not take a hit, and then
Mhm.
beat the game or something. I don't know. It's wacky. I didn't look up any guides though, so one day maybe. One day.
Do you remember the Sega Genesis X-Men game?
Yes.
Pretty
I
damn
do.
pretty damn good game actually. Um, but if you play it on like amateur difficulty or whatever, like whatever the easiest difficulty is, when you get to a point in the game, you'll get a splash screen of Magneto, and it's like amateurs could never hope to challenge me, and then it's like game over.
Oh, you don't even get to face him. The
No,
game
no.
ends.
Yeah, the game ends at a certain point if you're playing on easy difficulty.
Wow. Amazing.
I remember encountering that when I was like maybe like 9 years old and being like, "The fuck is this shit?" Uh,
That's kind of amazing.
that's like some OG trolling right there.
That is legendary.
hmm Um, speaking of legendary things, not this
Hey, take it
episode.
easy with the power pizzas. Because like depth charge shoots energy discs out of his chest
Oh,
and he
right.
frees Optimus, right?
Yeah.
And depth charge okay, real quick, this happens a lot. Depth charge's computer is like picking up Rampage's spark. And it zooms in on his eye and he's got a radar, right?
Mm.
And Optimus is like, "No, depth charge, wait!" And he storms off and flies after it. He's like, "Can't, Rampage is near." How does depth charge not know that Rampage is removed from his spark yet?
I don't know.
He was tracking him the first time we met depth charge, and then in depth charge versus Rampage 2, underwater Boogaloo. So we like, why is it detecting his spark instead of Rampage? Because he was able to track him before. And what, the Maximals never told depth charge, "Hey, by the way, his spark is like removed from his." I guess the Maximals don't know that.
Maybe?
Yeah, I guess they don't know that. It's just weird that his radar is picking up his spark instead of him, when before it picked up Rampage, not his spark.
Speaking of characters like knowing things or not knowing things, like a little I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but
Yeah.
after Cheetor and Depth Charge like encounter DinoClone 2, Cheetor
Uh-huh.
is like he says to Depth Charge, he's like, "Oh wow, was that Dinobot?" or something like that. And Depth Charge is like, "Huh." And it's like
Oh, I didn't.
Depth Charge showed up after Dinobot was already dead. He has no fucking idea who
Depth
Dinobot
charge
is.
hasn't even learned all the Maximals names yet. He doesn't that are alive.
Yeah,
Doesn't know who the fuck Dinopod is. Doesn't even know the names of the Predacons.
yeah.
Fuck.
All he
So
knows is Protoform X. That's like all he knows. Protoform X and Optimus Primal. That's like seems to be the only
yeah,
two individuals on planet Energon that he gives a shit about.
yeah. And then everyone else just has a nickname. Snake Face, Ant Head. I don't know. Buddy.
Rat breath.
Rat Breath. So
I
the Frankenstein device.
I
Go
will
ahead.
say on the subject of depth charge, it feels like in these episodes the voice actor has kind of dialed down the like grizzled, like grimdark,
Yeah,
like over the top shit that he was doing for the past few episodes. Feels like he's toned it down a little bit because
a
he
little
doesn't
more
sound
natural
yeah,
sounding.
he doesn't sound quite like he's trying to sound like a tough guy anymore.
Yeah, great. So the device that Waspinator, aka Igor, activates on this dark and stormy night. Uh, I will say that the device is really cool.
Mm.
Like metallic bone spurs wrap around and like dig into the protoform's body. And I'm like, is this like a fucking Aussie concert or like an Alice Cooper concert? Like this is kind of rad. And Waspinator comes over to the protoform and installs the Transmetal Driver, which is like a red orb,
Which is
metallic orb.
apparently a thing that exists now.
I was gonna ask you what that is and how they made it, and I know it's made out of Rampage's spark. Yeah, no. Wait, no,
No.
because then his spark isn't. No, because then it's in Dinobot 2.
Uh,
Wait, what? What is this?
the show
The
has not
compu-
explained it up to this point. I believe it's an alien device.
Yeah, the computer later on, the computer depth charge gets it, and he puts it on like a computer scanner thing back at Arc Mountain.
Yeah.
And it says unknown alien artifact modified by Megatron. And he goes, huh, cool. And he tosses it in the lava. Well, tries to. The Transmetal Driver. Okay.
Yeah. I bequeath
On the
you
reboot now?
half a spark. So Megatron takes the half of Rampage's spark that he's had in that like vice thing since last season, and
Yeah.
inserts it into this protoform along with the Transmetal Driver, and so everything charges up, and surprise, we have a Transmetal Velociraptor.
It looks stupid, man.
Yeah,
No?
it's
It looks
yeah.
dumb.
I'm not a fan. Its
And
mouth is strange. It's like
it's asymmetrical.
it's kind of skeletal looking in a way. Which maybe
You
is what
remember
they were
how
going for.
you and I were talking like 30 episodes? Ow, my head. 30 episodes of Too Much Energon ago, and I was like, I thought I had Dinobot, but it was like a skeleton or something like that. I'm wondering if there was
Maybe
a toy for this.
oh, there was. Yeah, I've seen it.
Maybe this is what I had.
Maybe.
Maybe. No, I had like one of those cheap ones that turned into eggs. Right. We we talked about this. Yeah. That
I
like
had one of
became armor or something for the others.
I had one of the McDonald's Happy Meal Beast Wars toys. Yes,
There we go. Yeah, that's what it was.
which did actually exist. I had like one or two of them back in the day. I was looking them up recently. They're hilariously cheap looking.
I should Google them.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many there were? There's usually like 5-ish whenever like a series of toys like that came out.
Their names are funny too because like they don't even really have like Transformer sounding names. They're just like the names of whatever creature they are. Like there's one that's literally just called Manta Ray.
Wow.
I'm looking it
Amazing.
up now. McDonald's Beast Wars toys.
So Megatron says, welcome, Transmetal 2, Dinobot. And I'm like, really? His name's Transmetal 2, Dinobot?
So in 1996, there was a Beast Wars McDonald's Happy Meal toy line, and it was comprised of the following characters: Panther, Rhino,
Okay. Right.
Beetle, Manta Ray, and Under 3.
Under 3?
Which was a lion-looking toy that was designed for kids under 3.
And its name was Under 3?
It looks like it didn't actually have a name, so the Transformer
so they
just calls it Under 3.
No kids under 3 should be holding plastic that fits in their mouth. I'm just saying.
Manta Ray was was one of the ones that I actually had.
Fuck it, I'm going in. McDonald's 96 Transformers toys.
The Rhino is friggin' hilarious looking. You know what? Out of all of these, I think Manta Ray is probably like the only one that looks halfway decent.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I'm looking at them now, and I'm like, the manta ray is like the only one passable. The rest are pretty fucking bad. The toy for kids under 3 is just like a piece of plastic that looks like a lion head.
Yeah.
Lord, Rhino looks bad.
Right?
It reminds me of Rhinox chilling out on the computer, but in his Rhino form. I mean, the beetle one, I guess is also okay. Listeners, treat yourself and Google McDonald's 96 Transformer toys.
Look up McDonald's Dinobot. It's from a second wave that was in 98. If you want to see a Dinobot toy that looks absolutely nothing like Dinobot, the Transformers wiki refers to it as McDinobot.
Why is his colors are perplexing. He's green, blue, and gold.
Yeah. And his like chest opens up so it looks like he has like wings, and his arms just like stick out. Oh man.
Oh Christ, that is bad looking. I mean, cool. Like that's an interesting design. Like he just folds out and that's him, but
Yeah.
there's a
Man, McDonald's hasn't had a
wow.
Transformers Happy Meal tie-in since 2016.
Hey, McDonald's,
Get on it.
figure it out. Get on that. Beast Wars wave is coming. It's
Yeah.
already here. So Dinobot 2 is here. And he has a different voice than Dinobot, right? Hell
Nope.
no.
Nope. Same guy.
Maybe he will grow on me, but right now I'm hashtag not my Dinobot. Holy
DinoClone 2. Yes.
yeah, DinoClone 2 is a more apt name.
I don't mind his robot mode too much.
No, I was amazed when he transformed. I was like, oh, I was expecting it to look worse.
Yeah, he actually kind of
it-
just looks like an upgraded version of Dinobot.
yeah, but his raptor form is meh.
I wonder
It's
if he
weird.
has like a vehicle-esque thing in his transmetal form.
Oh, well, if he does, I don't think we see it. Do we? He's
Maybe
got
he
like a
maybe he can
predator laser eye.
maybe maybe he can rat trap anymore.
If only I could bring back those days. Because they show up on the scene. And he eye lasers them, but like it's
Oh,
not
eye
the
laser.
predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it shoots a blast.
Yeah.
And there's a weird modified terror board. And he's like, wee! He literally says, wee!
You know what it kind of reminds
And
me of is in Metal Gear Solid 3.
the wasps.
Yeah, sometimes you would see like enemy soldiers like float in on these like platforms that they would stand on that would have like a shield in front of them.
Weird hover platforms.
Yeah.
So this is wild, but there's footage. It's I swear I have found it and I've shown other people it of like diesel powered, like those were real during like the Cold War. There's footage of it. And they couldn't
Really?
go very far. They couldn't go very far before they needed refueling.
Hmm.
And I showed my brother bleh, I showed my buddy James it at work. Every once in a while we go and look at these things and we're like, these are like human drones, like from like 60 years ago, like 50 years ago. And I went to go show somebody else, and James is like, "Oh, you're just not searching the right keyword, like tags for it, right?" And he's like, "A Russian Russian hover thing, Cold War. We can't find it now. It's like a weird cover up. Like we can't find the black and white footage of the Russians zooming around on these, but those were real. I swear to God, there was footage of it."
I mean, I'm not surprised since like most of the Metal Gear, like especially in like the Metal Gear prequel games, like most of the technology is kind of inspired by stuff that actually existed.
Yeah, they were called wasps, and they could they were controlled by them leaning, right? And they
Mm,
could control them going up and down, but they couldn't go very far because of the limitations of the technology at the
yeah.
time. And unless that whole thing was like a big ass prank or like a promo for Metal Gear Solid 3 or something, right? Which now that I'm thinking about it wouldn't surprise me. But apparently they could only go like a mile before like running out of fuel. So it was
Mm.
good to get like river hop or like go over a part of a forest and like reconvene at a road or something like that.
Yeah, something
But
tells
it's
me you wouldn't
real,
want
damn
to
it.
you wouldn't want to run out of gas on those things.
No, you probably just die.
Yeah, literally crash and burn.
Yeah.
So
And
Cheetor,
that's kind of what this is.
yeah,
Speaking of
Cheetor,
crash and burn,
Cheetor
he
grabs.
goes, "Wee!" and
he,
runs Dinobot 2 over.
yeah, he grabs the Transmetal 2 driver and throws it to depth charge, and depth charge literally like fucking soccer goalie catches it.
Yeah, he's like, "Go deep." And
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this episode? And then
Uh,
Megatron shoots Cheetor, and he lands in the beam where the Transmetal Driver was
yeah.
of this like device, and he screams and blows up.
Yep.
It's
And
it's a weird episode, man.
yeah, depth charge.
It blows up so much that it fires everyone else away, like far, far away. Depth charge, Megatron, DinoClone 2. But Depth Charge has the Transmetal Driver.
And he also has like a piece of like Cheetor's leg or something that he shows to Optimus. He's like
Yeah,
he's like
a
the
chunk
kid.
of them.
Yeah, the kid fought hard or something like that. And
Yeah, later when what does he say here? He goes back to Arc Mountain,
yeah.
and he's like, "What? Where's Cheetor?" And he's like, "Yeah, kid fought hard. I don't remember." And this is the part where he wanders in, goes to a computer, it scans the alien device, says it's been modified by Megatron. He's like, "Huh, well, never again," and he tosses it into the
Yeah,
lava.
just tosses it away just
I like
carelessly.
that. That's a he gets brownie points for that, bonus points for that one for me. I'd do the same. I'd be like, whatever, I don't give a shit. No good can come from this, and I just toss it. So Black Arachnia is watching and listening,
Yeah.
and she puts a tether down in her spider form and jumps after it and transforms in the air and catches it. I know I've mentioned this before, and I understand that it's a TV show for kids, but why would she fall faster than the ball would fall?
Oh yeah,
This
yeah.
has happened on the show before. I'm like, well, technically, gravity would be making them both fall, and the ball had a head start. You can't gain, you can't catch up to the falling ball and grab it unless you had rockets behind you making you go faster than gravity is pulling you.
But she's heavier than it.
Yeah, that means gravity pulls her faster, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
She's heavier. That's why she falls faster. That's my
Yeah,
that's my 11-year-old explanation.
I feel like 11-year-old Christopher would have been like, actually.
I don't know. I guess I would have been. Fuck, I would have just turned 14 by the time this episode aired.
So you would have learned about like gravity, terminal velocity, mass. Yeah. Maybe the Transmetal Driver is very floaty, like a feather, and it caught the air and slowed its descent. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
let's go with that.
here we go. It's alien tech.
Oh, it's alien tech. So it falls. It floated down. Problem solved. You know what? That's all I needed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anger subsided.
Uh,
So she
so
catches it.
yeah, she catches it, and
It
looks like
looks cool.
looks like she's up to something. And back at the dark side, Megatron's in his hot tub, in his jacuzzi.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in it in a while, but yeah, he's got a hot tub in his quarters. And when he's not like hooked up to an IV for some
There's a
perplexing
ducky
reason.
in it. I just noticed.
Yeah, he's had that ducky for a while.
So
Uh,
Rampage is there and he's not happy.
yeah, he's all mad because because Megatron gave like the other half, the severed half of his spark to DinoClone 2.
He's like, well, fuck you. I'm gonna rip it out of his chest and restore it within me.
And then
And he growls and reaches for Dinobot. DinoClone 2. Go ahead.
so DinoClone 2, like a little panel opens on his chest, and the spark, half of Rampage's spark sticks out, and
Like he's giving it to him. And I'm like, why are you helping him pull it out of your chest?
but he smirks, and then he does the like vice effect on the spark that Megatron used to do with the hand unit thing.
But we don't see how he does that. The camera moves away and it just shows DinoClone 2 like smirking like a dumbass, and then Rampage is screaming in pain. You brought up a good point.
I think we see some little claws.
Are there like little claw things?
Yeah, I'm just rewatching it.
Like he can just like torture him on a will?
Yeah,
At will?
yeah,
Oh, okay, I see little things connected to it.
yeah. But here's what I'm wondering though: if like this half of Rampage's spark is somehow allowing, like it's obviously part of DinoClone 2, and like that was apparently the missing ingredient to making a clone of Dinobot this time, you'd think it would hurt him.
Why wouldn't it? I mean, you would assume so, wouldn't you?
I mean, like,
But I guess it's not. It
this
doesn't.
thing is tied to his life force somehow.
Yeah. He's like a spiritual brother, a soul brother. But I mean, yes, he's a spark. He's a soul brother, and
I think Megatron
apparently
even
it's
refers
fine.
to him as like his half brother
Yeah, later.
later. Yeah.
So much of this is wonky, and it doesn't explain how it works. Shouldn't it be
Yep.
just shouldn't it be only half as painful? So
Well, no, I don't think so because like it's still the exact same half of his spark that Megatron had in that little hand vice before.
well, he had his full spark before.
No, I think it was
Or
only
did
half of
he?
his spark.
Oh, so he carved out half and the other half is still in Rampage.
Yeah, because
Oh,
Megatron.
so Megatron doesn't have um that half of a spark anymore. That's in DinoClone.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was his full spark before. And then he
Yeah.
somehow cut that in half and put half in the Transmetal Drive and half in DinoClone.
No, because like Megatron even commented about using an Energon blade on a spark. So he cut out half of
Right. Okay.
Rampage's spark.
Makes sense. So that
It just
alien device is just something separate, has nothing to do with Rampage.
yeah.
Okay. I understand. Makes sense. Seems
I mean,
legit.
to be fair, like it just looks like it like it's still like spherical. It looks like a regular old spark. It's just a little smaller.
Little smaller.
Um
And then Megatron like pats himself on the back about how only he could have accomplished such a fusion.
yeah.
Man, I kind of want Rampage to kill the Predacons. Like,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, oh, but he's a serial killer. So I fuck him. So I don't have sympathy
No,
for
I
him.
don't. I don't at all.
Yeah.
Good voice acting. Like good voice actor, which
Yes.
we've talked about before. But
Yes.
so what's going on? DinoClone 2. Or yeah, Optimus and Depth Charge, I think, are out looking for Cheetor. And DinoClone
Yeah.
2 like shows up and fucks up Depth Charge and
Right. Yeah. And then there's like energy bindings on depth charge.
yeah.
So
So he
DinoClone 2 overpowered, got the jump on depth charge, and tied him to a ratty looking tree with energy rope.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Megatron, the rest of the Predacons are there, and Megatron's like, it's like, where the fuck is my Transmetal Driver? Cheers.
Listen here, bitch. You're going to tell me where it is. And depth charge is like, oh, I got rid of it.
Oh, that piece of junk, I threw that shit away.
And he's like, where is it? And depth charge is like, you ever read Lord of the Rings? Well, if you condensed it into one paragraph instead of one giant book, that was my journey. Chucked it in a volcano.
Nonsense.
fucked.
We Predacons only read Shakespeare. Cheers.
My
And
partner was like, the size difference between all three of those Preds right there, Quick Strike, Megatron, and Rampage, is huge. Like, Quick Strike is like tiny. Like, is he smaller than Rat Trap? He's tiny. And
well,
then like
he was a like basic size toy, so he was like the absolute smallest class of figure that you could get.
yeah, because there's a shot showing all three standing next to each other, and it's like Quick Strike is tiny, twice as big as him, maybe three times as big as him is Megatron, and then like a whole 1/3 bigger than Megatron. Like Megatron's like 2/3 the size of Rampage.
Yeah.
So I actually do like the huge variance in the size difference of all
Well,
the Transformers lately.
well, unlike in season 1, I think from like season 2 onward in this show, I think the characters are roughly to scale of like their size, the sizes of their toys.
That makes sense. They're more to scale on the show to match the toy line.
So like Quick Strike was like a basic size figure, DinoClone 2 was like a deluxe class figure, Megatron was a mega class figure, and Rampage was an ultra class.
Ultra. There
Ultra
was
Beast. Yes.
Rampage was Ultra, and so was Optimal.
Yeah. I think Optimal was like a size class unto himself. Like,
Oh, you mentioned that
yeah.
before. He
Yeah.
was his own size, yeah.
He's a fucking big ass toy, which I've shown on video on this show before.
The kind of toy you can swing and give your brother stitches when it gets out of line.
And amazingly enough, that toy was $30 back in the day.
That's not bad.
No, it's not.
Holy shit, $30?
Considering we have like what are called commander class transformers now that are roughly like to scale of that are like 120.
Oh,
Listeners, this is all in
90s.
Canadian dollars.
Canadiano, so it's like chump change for Americanos.
Canadian dollary dues.
So we're at the Werecheetah moment, which is
Yeah.
really long and drawn out. The summary is they're like, huh, what was that? I think it's a ghost. Yeehaw! And Cheetor,
Fucking-
like one by one, takes out the Preds.
I know the show's being really coy about it, but like it's so fucking obvious that it's Cheetor.
It's obviously Cheetor. It's so fast. It's so fast and it's dark and scary.
And it's making like growling like cat sounds.
Making cheetah sounds.
And we saw
And even
Cheetor,
Megatron's like, what was that?
and we saw Cheetor at the beginning of the episode get fucked up by the Transmetal 2 machine.
Yeah.
The Transmetal 2 Omatic. And
Yeah.
It's like, why is the show being coy about this? Like, fuck off. There's some Tasmanian devil bullshit.
Oh my god. I forgot about that. So Cheetor moves so fast. I'm sorry. The monster moves so fast. And Megatron like stabs his like prehensile blaster tail into the ground so that he's not knocked over. But what ends up happening is Cheetor moves so fast, he spins him.
His dick laser, good sir.
And look at me trying to class up the. No, it spins him so fast he turns into the Tasmanian devil.
And when he stops, he makes like a fucking hilarious face. No, you know what? I think I might.
Oh, that's
make
very
this.
cartoon.
I might make this the show art for the episode.
So he spins and he goes over to a cliff and he completely stops spinning like on a fucking dime, and just like Wile E. Coyote chasing the the Roadrunner, he stops in the air and goes. And I half expected like a sound effect for him to blink, like ding ding, and him to like look down and hold up a sign that said "Yipes." We get yipes moment here.
I'm not sure if that would have made the episode worse or better, honestly.
I feel like that about a lot of the things on this. After these 2 episodes, I was like, do I hate these episodes? Or do I love them? Like, I think the yipes sign might have made it better at that point. Like, if you're going full Looney Tunes, commit.
Yeah. Might as well.
And then, I don't know, like, Dark Cheetor, like, sniffs depth charges, like, crotch. And then Optimus shows up and like Werecheetah like runs off into the night.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yep.
then we get to see back at Arc Mountain
Sorry,
Optimal and
little bit of technical problems on my end.
Oh. So we get to see back at Arc Mountain that Optimal is in a beast mode of sorts because he has a gorilla face. I swear to God, I have not seen that until now.
We saw it briefly in I think it might have been an Optimal Situation, the episode where he first got this form. We did see him go into beast mode briefly in that episode. But
Yeah,
this
You're right. You're right.
This is definitely the most that we've seen it. Like, even when I was watching these yesterday, like, even I was taking notice of it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, weird.
And
It caught me off guard. I was like, I don't remember this.
and Cheetor kind of stumbles into frame. Not in Werecat mode, but in his regular transmetal
In a daze.
form. Just
He's
like
all
nothing
injured and
happened.
shit.
Yeah. And that is part 1 to be continued.
Done.
Dun dun.
That is part 1. Shall we jump into part 2?
Yeah, let's do it. Feral Scream
Bada
part
boom,
2.
folks. So I do like how it starts. We get a panning shot of Cheetor's room. And he has a model of the Axelon.
Oh yeah, he does.
And what appears to be
A photo of him and Optimus like
I love
standing
that.
arm in arm.
Arm in arm, like somebody took a portrait shot of them, a couple's shot of them.
Yeah, and he's got a
And
photo of Black Arachnia beside his
a
bed.
framed photo of Black Arachnia right beside his bed. He's got like there's a trophy of some kind. His
That's not
diary
weird.
is in leopard print or cheetah print.
Now, imagine
It's
you're,
weird. The
you're-
Black Arachnia.
Yeah, imagine you're there's this lady that you work with that you're pretty into. You have no romantic connection with her whatsoever, and for all intents and purposes, like, it seems like she doesn't even like you. Now imagine having a framed photo of her standing in a coy pose right next to your bed. That's it's weird.
Yeah, kind of like she was like walking and somebody said, "Oh, hey." And she like was in the middle of turning around. Does nobody else notice he has that in there? Oh, he has extra tails lined on the wall. His tail axes.
He does, yeah.
I,
The door opens up and we see like Optimal Optimus, who's a fucking behemoth compared to the rest of them. He kind of like leans in. He can't even fit through the doorway.
Is the size of like his hands.
Torso. Yeah.
And he's just kind of like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" He can't even like fit in the hallway outside.
There
I
he
didn't even
is,
know that they
my
had
little guy.
My little guy.
And he shuts
push the
Cheetor's
button.
door by like just using one of his fingers and like pulling it
Yeah,
shut.
he gently like uses his one of his gigantic fucking, and he like lightly like taps it closed. I loved that.
Yeah. It's
He's huge.
yeah,
How does he even fit in the hallway? Oh, that was amusing.
well, and like when we see him on the bridge of what's left of the Axelon, he's like he's always standing on like one of the lower decks that's just been like exposed.
Standing on like the cliff, whereas the Axelon's bridge is like higher up. So when he's talking to other people on the bridge, it's like from his waist up. It's the only way he can fit. Yeah. Interesting that they salvaged enough of the Axelon to give Cheetor his own, to have one of the hallways from the Axelon with their private chambers in it.
I wonder where Optimus sleeps. I guess
I was just thinking
maybe
that.
he sleeps on
like,
the Ark.
I mean, why not? The other guys aren't waking up.
Yeah. I'm sure there are plenty of rooms on that ship that aren't in use. Everybody's passed out on the floor.
And he goes in there and he's like, "Oh, damn it, rat trap." And there's like, like Sharpie like dicks and stuff drawn on the fucking the Decepticons' faces. He's putting them in gay poses. That's something cheat. That's something Rat Trap would do.
G1 Megatron just has like a sharpied like dick with like a bunch of lines going from the tip of it to like to his cheek.
Coming down from here.
Yeah. In an alternate universe.
So if anybody had missed them, we get another Cheetor Vision quest. His like wacky, wild like dream where the other Maximals are like mocking him, and
Yeah, this
it's
kid's really
because
insecure.
yeah, and what happens here? Well, I think it has to do with his like feral form, because just briefly, earlier Rat Trap was like, "Hey, how come?" Sorry, Optimal was like, "Oh, he's sleeping it off and recovering," and Rat Trap's like, "Kind of weird that he didn't want to use the CR chamber, huh?"
Hmm. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so that has something to do with this dream because they're all forcing him into the CR chamber and he doesn't want to use it. And then when he uses it, he comes out and he's a mutant and they all scream in terror and they call him like ugly creature and monster and stuff like that.
His head's on a spring.
It
It's like
yeah, and it's just dangling.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and he wakes up, he's like, "Oh, it was just a nightmare."
Then he starts glowing green and mutating.
Yeah.
I guess it's a full moon.
Yeah. It's weird, man. I don't get it. I don't get what this green energy is. Is
Uh,
that like Rampage's energy? No. No.
it's Transmetal
Alien?
2 energy.
Seppuku time.
Yeah, so Werecheetah like busts out of his quarters and knocks Rat Trap over, and
What a trope.
another like hilarious shot of like so Rat Trap and Optimus look into Cheetor's quarters, which have been thrashed, and Optimus is like
Uh-huh.
literally like on all fours, like hunched over, looking in behind Rat Trap.
Oh, right, because he ran past Rat Trap and like knocked him over.
Yeah.
He has to like crawl, shimmy
Yeah.
into the hole.
It's just a
And Rat Trap is like, some
hilarious shot.
cyber mutant trashed Cheetor's chambers and must have, and it got Cheetor. And I'm like, the monster looks like a cheetah.
How is this not
And
occurring to anyone?
there's no parts of Cheetor left. It must have ate him whole, like the big bad wolf. And apparently the big bad Cheetor is snarling into the night so loudly that all the Preds hear him.
Well, someone's out for a little Moon Knight stroll at Mach 2.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
because the
that
computer
someone
scanned him.
is familiar.
And he like gently caresses his chest where there's like a slash mark in his on his chest plate.
Yeah, and we see Transmetal 2 Cheetor running.
After Megatron's like, enhance.
Yeah, not interestingly enough, not on his crystal ball this time. He's actually looking at a computer monitor.
Yep.
For once.
And
Still
he's
don't
like,
know what he's
"Computer."
actually like tracking him with, but Cheetor is being rocket
Mystic.
propelled.
Yeah, he's running like a cheetah, but he also has a rocket on his back, like an actual rocket.
A Transmetal 2!
And he slams his fist, as I suspected. And I'm like, did you?
Yeah, I kind of dig Rocket Cheetah.
Yeah, I kind of like it better than Transmetal 1 Cheetor. I dig it a lot.
And he
Poor
sends
Waspinator.
Waspinator and DinoClone 2 after Cheetor V3.
Yeah. And so Cheetor gains control somehow by opening up a compartment on his hip, and green energy comes out and possesses him.
Which I happen to have for the audio listeners. I happen to have a Transmetal 2 Cheetor figure in my hand right now, and his hip actually opens up,
Does indeed open up.
and there is a
Oh, that's pretty
green,
cool.
there's a green maximal symbol.
Like a
There.
little orb embedded in his hip.
Yeah,
That's actually pretty cool.
and that seems to be where the green energy on is coming from in on the show.
Season 3, aka holy shit, we need to sell more toys. So he's Super Saiyan 2 now, which looks like Super Saiyan 1, but I assure you, it's different.
Yeah. And yeah, what happens here?
And then we get a Lipton iced tea ad in the middle of hey folks, I'm watching it on Tubi. Give me a break. Although I could use something to quench my thirst right now. Something lemony.
Lemony fresh. Not lemony snickets. No.
No, I was waiting for you to say. This episode is wonky enough to be lemony snickets.
Yeah,
This
so
is like a series of fortunate events for Cheetor.
yeah, Cheetor assumes that I think he just assumes it was another dream again. He's like, "Oh,
yeah.
I'm fine."
Yeah.
And back at Ark Mountain, what the fuck's going on?
Maximals are like, hey, what's going on? And you have pointed this out before. Optimus, he's like, I think I might know what's going on. And they're like, well, can you fill us in? And Optimus is like, no, I can't say yet until I'm sure. He does that all the time. You've pointed this out like multiple times before, where it's like, Optimus, tell your fucking men what's happening. He's
Yeah,
so mysterious for no reason.
I think that was most egregious in the agenda part 2, when like Optimus
was
like
information they needed.
yeah,
This, who cares, right? Ooh, Optimus is smart, but he's mysterious. But
he's
the
got to
whole
save face in case he's wrong, right?
that's that's what I always wonder. If you're mysterious about your hunches and you're right, you can go, that's exactly what I thought. But if you're wrong, then you just go, that's why I didn't want to tell you. I didn't think it was true. What was it when he suspected that where the Ark was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Megatron's found what I think he's found, we're in big trouble.
What did he find? There's no time. He made 3 excuses during those episodes. I hate that trope where there's a huge misunderstanding, or it's just like, hey, you got to listen to me. And somebody's like, there's no time. You just got to go and do this.
Mm.
And then always, I don't know what that trope's called. I could probably Google it. In the amount of time that you bicker about the person not telling them the truth, you could have just told them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure there's something about it on TV tropes.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like he could just say, what's wrong? I understand Optimus needs to be cool, but couldn't he just go, any of y'all think that monster looks like a cheetah? just me? It reminds me of Resident Evil 2. When you go to the shopkeep, the pawnbrokers at the beginning, and that guy's aiming the shotgun at you, and he's like, stop right there. And depending on who you're playing, they're like, hold your fire. I'm a human.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I thought you were one of those monsters. They're zombies, man.
Sorry about that.
Oh, so
Apparently, that shopkeep is Canadian.
He gets his. Don't know how, considering he had a shotgun. Whatever.
Which after he gets eaten, you can go back and steal.
I think there's like two zombies in there. You end
Yeah.
up getting a shotgun later on anyway. So thanks for following our Resident Evil 2 walkthrough. If you
Not
click on
not even the recent Resident Evil 2.
No, I'm
We're
talking
talking about the one that was like actually a pretty new game around this time still. When this
it was
episode aired.
out?
Yeah, it came out in 98.
It was. And we're in 99 now, right? And if you go to the police chief's desk and you click it 70 times, it says there's just a bunch of clutter here. There's just a bunch of clutter here. If you keep clicking it, I assure you, you will
It's
eventually
50.
pick up film. Is it 50?
Yeah, 50. It's Wesker's desk in the STARS office.
Wesker's.
And
I think if you go into the dark room and develop it, it's a picture of Chris and Claire.
it's a picture of Rebecca Chambers in like basketball gear.
Oh, wasn't there film that developed into like the Redfield siblings, or am I thinking of something else?
There was a photo of the STARS team.
Maybe
That was a picture you could
maybe I'm
develop.
getting confused and thinking about that. Wait, it was Rebecca in
Yeah,
basketball
yeah,
clothes?
I think she was wearing like green like basketball gear.
Huh. Man, I haven't played that in actual like since I was watching this show. That's how long it was.
Just before the remake came out a couple of years ago, I revisited it. So it's still
Oh,
fairly
rad.
fresh and yeah, it's still fairly fresh in my mind.
I remember playing and finding out that the lickers were blind
Mm.
and being like, wait a second. And if you're playing on tank controls, the way that the controls worked is if you held forward, they would start to move your leg, but if you let go, they would just put their leg back down. But when you went backwards, right, they would go to move backwards. And if you canceled the move, they would still move a tinge backwards, but not take a step. So lickers couldn't hear your footstep. So if you
Oh,
tapped
okay.
down rapidly, you could scooch backwards and you could aim yourself, and you could scooch backwards and like inch yourself around the lickers, and as long as you don't touch them, they don't see you or hear you.
Nice.
And I
That's
felt
what
like that was like a weird like hack for the game. Like my cousins would be like, "Oh, this part's really scary. The lickers are a different color. Can you sneak past them?" And I was like, "No worries, bro."
I got this.
Did you ever
Stand
find that
aside.
out? I
Yeah,
felt like that was like my one child like video gaming childhood accomplishment. Like
yeah, no,
finding out that they were completely blind and they only reacted when you made a full footstep.
I knew they were blind, but yeah, I didn't know that's yeah, never heard of that one
If you ever
before.
play it again, and one hasn't noticed you, turn your back and try to like scooch and do like the reverse tank mode like thing, and try to see if you can get by. It's
Just press down constantly.
yeah.
Or just like tap down.
Yeah, just and then you slowly learn how to like walk and like turn while you're going backwards. It's weird, but it worked. Saved a lot of ammo in the game. I wonder if the remake they're blind. I mean, canonically they are blind, but
Yeah,
I mean I
they don't
wonder
have eyes.
if you could like super slowly walk around them. Do you know? Can you like
Uh
sneak past them?
you can, yeah, if you're like super walking like super slow.
Cool. Cool. I still haven't played it.
Oh, really?
I know. It's like
It came out
it's like
like 2
Resident
years ago.
Evil 2
Or like
remake. I know.
2 years ago
And
now.
then like I gotta catch up on my Resident Evils.
You could probably skip the 3 remake. It's not that great.
Yeah, I remember you being like, yeah.
It's
Which is a shame because that was
The 2
big
remake
spooks
is
for me.
great, but it's like the 3 remake just feels completely rushed. There's like
Oh, shame.
sections like it's like they only remade part of the original Resident Evil 3. Like I was all
Like a streamlined version of it.
hyped to because like when I replayed through Resident Evil 3 a few years ago, um
Oh, you played through the original Nemesis?
yeah. Uh,
Cool.
I noticed that at the gas station, there's actually a like Thrash DeLorean out front of it, and I was like, "Oh, haha!
Oh,
I wonder if there's actually if they're gonna do that in the remake." Like, so I was all like, "Oh, I can't wait to get to the gas station to see if there's like still a Thrash DeLorean there." Turns out there's
right.
no gas station in the 3 remake. You don't even go to the gas station.
Oh, interesting. So they changed the fundamental flow of the story then,
I
or
think
at least
there's
the setting.
I think there's literally a achievement for beating the game in under like an hour and a half. And
Huh.
let me tell you, I think I never did that, but I think even on my first playthrough, I got through the game in like just over 4 hours. Like the 3
Uh,
remake is really short.
did it release at full like AAA price?
Yep,
Oh, tisk tisk. What you
it
need
was
to do is mod Resident Evil 2 remake so that when Mr. X finds you, DMX play
uh
plays.
yeah, I think it was you who shared that video with me a while back.
The mod where you just hear in the background and then he slams through a wall or comes around a corner and the music like like gets louder
Yeah,
as he
yeah,
gets closer. X
yeah.
gonna give it to you.
X gonna deliver it to you.
And when you think you're like losing him, and he suddenly opens up the door and it's like knock knock, open up the door. It's real.
uh, uh.
If anyone's played that and is not aware, please go in and look at the DMX like sound mod for Mr. X.
Yeah. There's
It's
videos
a
of it on
hoot.
YouTube.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyway,
speaking of Mr. X, gonna give it to us. Uh,
yeah, what's
Cheetor had a
happening?
dream. Yeah, Cheetor had a dream. Oh, there's an awkward moment where Silverbolt comes back from looking for Cheetor. And
Oh yeah.
what is Black Arachne is outside the base, and she says, "Any sign of our Tabby?" And he says, "Not so much as a whisker." He's like, "But your concern does you credit," as he's like hiding his jealousy. And to be fair, she barely gives a shit about him,
Yeah.
like Silverbolt. So it's
She
funny that she even brought it up.
she's growing as a
Yeah,
person.
yeah. I've
And of course
liked Black
Silverbolt is
Arachne
like
as
I am man, I am jealous.
me man.
She talk about other men.
She have pet name for Cheetor. Me must destroy. He's not quite
Yeah.
there yet. Yeah, and she says, "I'm
Hope that
full of
motherfucker is dead.
surprises." Yeah. I couldn't find him. Ah, I looked real hard, I assure you.
Yeah.
He just went to the river and went fishing.
um so there's this like scene, there's actually like fairly intense scene where Optimus is like fucking laying down the law to depth charge.
Oh, yeah. So he's like, "Hey, I need you to tell me what happened when you and Cheetor ran into Megatron." And
Come
Depth
on,
Charge is
don't
like,
bullshit me.
"Don't bullshit me, Depth Charge. Don't bullshit me, Charger." And he's like, you hauled me in to ask me that." And he turns his back and he walks away from him. And like you said, this is
Optimus is basically like, I'm talking to you, motherfucker.
he
And like
goes
even
up and he
shoves him at
spins him
one point.
around. He spins him around. And he's like, "Okay, I need answers now." and they do like a chest bump thing. And after Depth Charge does a chest to chest thing, Optimus just like fucking shoves him into like a wall of crates or something, and Depth Charge like screams in pain, and he's like, "Listen here, you little fucking shit."
I mean, Optimus clearly cares about Cheetor.
I loved this scene. This is one of the redeeming scenes. He's like, Cheetor's gone, and you're not spilling the beans. And what does he say? So you will talk, or I will rip out your core processor.
Yeah. Which I'm like, wow, Optimus. Like I said,
I'm
laying
like,
down. Fucking laying down the law here.
yeah. And also, Depth Charge needs to be told to like, hey, you know what? Get in line, bitch.
Yeah.
This is bigger than you.
So Depth Charge explains that Cheetor was caught in the overload of the machine, and Optimus is like, why the fuck didn't you tell me? And Depth Charge is like, oh, I didn't know what he would become.
Yeah.
And Waspinator and DinoClone 2 are like flying around. Or Waspinator's flying around, DinoClone 2 is like on the ground. Following along.
Yeah, and they find the cave where they tracked Cheetor to. And Waspinator is like, I am in charge. You must follow my plan.
Yeah, and then DinoClone 2.
DinoClone's like, I am the plan.
Yeah. And then he takes his claws and like literally like eviscerates Waspinator in this very cartoony moment.
There's motion blur as he like pulls out his like Velociraptor talons, which are his like index fingers, and there's a motion blur as he like samurai slices up Waspinator, and he literally slashes him into ribbons.
It's
his
like
head lands, and the rest of him comes down in ribbons.
It's like if you ever see in movie like comedies, especially like someone will take like a samurai sword and be like
do it like 6 times,
and
then there's like an
cut
sculpture.
Yeah, or like the person's like clothes will just like fall off,
and there's not a single nick on them, just their clothes are gone.
Yeah,
it's the Zorro thing, except more brutal. I thought he was gonna do something like, I don't know, carve like a D onto his chest. No, he just like my partner was watching, and she was like, so he's dead, right? And I'm like, he's been through worse.
he certainly has. Optimus finds Cheetor, who is
he comes back to base, right? Again. But this time he's completely healed.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, what's up? And Cheetor very badly. It's kind of adorable, actually. They're like, what happened with the creature? And he's like, oh, well, you see, I followed it since he attacked the base and all, and I got rid of him. Yeah, I took him out by myself.
And Optimus is like, uh-huh.
Right, so I guess you can show me the body. And he's like, what? What? No, why do I need to show you the body? I ate him.
Why is everyone giving me such a hard time?
Come on, Dad. And then they fly off to the jungle, just those two.
Yeah.
Optimus and Cheetor. And
Optimus goes into his weird transmetal, his weird optimal
ape
gorilla mode.
Which I swear we've barely seen. And he even like scratches his pit. Like a fucking like gorilla.
Yeah.
Like a chimp. And as they're walking through the forest, he like reaches up and he's about to like grab bananas off of a tree when Cheetor like talks to him and the camera pulls away. I liked that. Right around 14:18, 14:19, they're walking.
Yeah. And then
he reaches up for some bananas.
Waspinator is back. Waspinator is back in one piece, but I like he's got his arm in a sling and he's got a bunch of band-aids on.
Yeah, he's got his front wasp leg in a sling, and he's got like band-aids here or there. Otherwise, he's fully intact. Only Waspinator can get away with that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like Optimus's like sharp teeth.
Cheetor's Transmetal 2 form explodes out of his body.
Like American Werewolf in Paris,
Yeah,
in London. Yeah, like body horror, like it actually like explodes and sheds his body.
yeah. And
Oh, that's
yeah,
yeah,
he's in
DinoClone
robot
Laser
form. Yeah,
Eyes. Yeah, DinoClone Laser Eyed Optimus
yeah,
before that, right? Because
right.
he's taken down. And I'm like, wow, Dinobot's like plasma laser eye thing is powerful. So we finally get a glimpse of like the non-blackened version of Transmetal 2 Cheetor.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it more than Transmetal 1 Cheetor.
yeah. It's more
It's furry.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
more
cyborg.
animalistic. It actually looks more like like a mix between like an animal and a machine.
Rather than just machine, which is what Transmetal 1 was. He's
Yeah.
got like tufts of fur and scattered around on him.
Even in his robot form, like his robot form is much more animalistic looking.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I
I
like
dig
it a
it.
lot. I like how cool he is. He like without looking shoots over his shoulder and like explodes Waspinator. He's like, because Optimus is like, Cheetor, look out, the bot, and he's like, which bot? You mean this bot right here? And he blows up Waspinator and then like points and winks at Optimus, and I'm like, all right, I'm digging it. And we get a duel between Cheetor 2 and Dinobot 2, DinoClone 2.
Hmm. And Cheetor wins.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the best
There's
way to
not much
say it.
more to say. There's not much more to say about it than that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I'm yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there's a slow motion scene where they're both in their beast mode and they like turn mid-air like the Burly Brawl and or not the Burly Brawl, like the standoff in the Matrix. They slow motion like slash at each other's bellies or
yeah.
something like that.
The Burly Brawl is from the Matrix Reloaded.
Yes, and that is in the park with many, many Agent Smiths.
Yeah. And yeah, Cheetor goes to beast mode. He gets like bestial again, and the Maximals are all like, Cheetor, fight it. Some
Yeah,
shit
I
like that.
guess it wasn't clear until now, but when he's in his beast mode, he's like not himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the trope where they're like, "You can do it, like fight it.
And then
You just gotta control yourself."
Optimus goes to touch the like spark thing, the green like spark thing on his leg,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
like
and he's like, "Ah, get away!"
blue light starts glowing and coming from Optimus's hand, which
What's
I'm like,
going on here?
I have no earthly idea.
Oh,
But whatever it
I was
is,
my
it
only
makes
note was like, "Ask Christopher what the fuck is happening in this episode."
whatever it is, it makes Cheetor the green stuff come back, and then Cheetor regains control of himself, and
I like how it's slow mo, but it's actually just lowered frames.
yeah, the frame rate's just
Like it's
lower.
like 5 frames per second, and I'm like, what? This
That
is what I
they
think
they've used
because he just
that effect before.
and it has been jarringly bad every
Every
time.
single time, yeah.
Yeah. So this is my theory about what the heck is happening here. So he touches his chest, right? And then he goes to reach for Cheetor, and Optimus's hand glows blue. And Cheetor's butt glows green, and the blue energy comes off of Optimus's hand, the green energy comes off of Cheetor's hip. And it dissipates. It's very Final Fantasy-ish. It dissipates, and in a dreamlike voice,
Oh, that's what he's doing.
Optimus.
He's tapping into the life stream. Got it. Right,
I
right.
was going to. Yeah, I was going to say it's something about the Allspark or the thing that they're all connected to. It's some spiritual like thing, but like maybe the blue energy is the Autobot energy that's imbued within Optimus. They gave
Oh
him that
yeah, yeah,
form.
the Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah, they gave him that form, the Matrix of Leadership, that kind of made him semi-Autobot, made him
Yeah.
bigger, and the green energy, which is like the alien tech.
Mm.
And for some reason, he's able to like reach out, and that energy
So
interacts
so what
somehow.
you're saying is in this scene, Optimal Optimus has got the touch. He's got the
He's
power.
got the power. Yeah.
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 After all is said and done.
You're a winner.
Uh, I could actually sing that entire song, but I'm going to
You're at your
refrain.
best when the going gets tough. Oh, I can't I can't remember it all. But we will spare the audience.
Yeah,
Please do go and watch the Transformers movie, the animated movie from the 80s. It
yeah.
is like top tier.
And
There is not better Transformers than that movie.
watch it with our commentary track that we recorded a while back.
Yeah, we do a live commentary. If you've seen it so many times and you want to hear us just like
Talk over the
laugh
movie.
and ask and point weird things out and talk about how OP Optimus is.
That was fun. We should do more commentary tracks sometime.
Yeah, it was just fun. I have no idea how it. I've listened to us talking about it, and I liked it. But I mean, I might be a little biased. I don't know. But yeah, I've listened to it, and I'm like, this is funny.
Yeah. Optimus is like, son, you're alive, and gives Cheetor a big hug, and Cheetor's like,
Yeah,
Dad, you're embarrassing me.
that's actually what happens. Yeah, you're embarrassing me, and his
Cheetor's like
voice
checking
is.
Cheetor's like checking himself out in the mirror, and he's got like a little like chin hair. He's got like a little bit of chin hair now.
Yeah, he's late teens Cheetor now,
Yeah, he's gone
right?
through puberty.
Yeah, so we young Cheetor was the ripe age of 14, 15, and we're looking at what, 17, 18,
And now
19-year-old Cheetor?
and now Black Arachnia is all like, "Ooh, this is I like the upgrade."
She literally comes up and she's like, "So the new and improved Cheetor, huh?"
I could get used to it.
hmm And she's kind of like, "Oh, what does she say? You've got some nice features. I could get used to it." And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Like I care what I look like.
Well, I don't even give a shit as long as I can like kill Preds."
Cheetor's new like robot mode head, he kind of has that like same thing on his forehead that Optimus has. It's like
Oh, like a
it looks almost like a like a long, like almost diamond shaped like vent type thing. Optimus
I
has
like
one
that.
on his
Yeah,
head, and
I
now
I
Cheetor
don't know
has
why,
one
but
too.
I like that look on like mechs and robots.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but good job designing. I complained endlessly about some of the other designs, but I like Transmetal 2 Cheetor.
So uh the episode ends with Black Arachnia like fondling the Transmetal 2 driver, which implies that maybe she isn't all like, ooh, Cheetor, sexy man now, but is actually
Even
like, maybe I can do this to myself.
because she was like, "Oh, I'm just checking out the body. I like it." So if you analyze that scene, it's revealing that she's quite clearly talking about the physical upgrade that he got, making sure he's not a mutant or like fucked up or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
she's like, "No, he's way more powerful." And who got the shtick and hasn't even transformed once yet? Rhinox, Black Arachnia, Waspinator,
Inferno.
and Inferno. Is that it?
I think
Everyone
so,
else
yeah.
is either a Fusor or a Transmetal or an
Now a Transmetal too.
Autobot Prime. Yeah,
Even fucking Dinobot's a Transmetal now.
I hashtag not my Dinobot. But his robot mode does look cool. I like his face. Don't like his beast mode. And we did it.
Yeah, we did it. I'm looking on the Transformers wiki for Feral Scream Part 1, and it's like Optimus berates Cheetor for putting the blank protoform at risk. When in Double Jeopardy, Optimus aimed at Waspinator when the latter was carrying a protoform with a spark.
Oh, we pointed that out when we did that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, whoa, what is Optimus doing?
Not an error per se, but compared to most of the other alien artifacts in the show, the Transmetal Driver is a complete mystery. No specifics are given about its origin, what its real purpose is, how Megatron found it, only that it creates Transmetal 2 Transformers. So I guess we're never getting an explanation.
Convenient. Oh, if it doesn't say there, yeah.
Yeah.
How convenient. And part of the show revolves around the viewer and the rest of the cast, not the rest of the characters on the show, figuring out Megatron's secrets, right? Like when it was revealed, when Megatron shared that the disc had a message from G1 Megatron, and he shared that with Ravage.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, okay, wow. The writing for the show is great. I dig that. This has come full circle. This explains so much. But I'm wondering, was there more info on the discs? Because Black Arachne is the only one that has all the info from the discs. So
Yeah,
I'm
at this
curious
point,
what
yeah.
else she could possibly know, or if she just knew about Megatron's message. There must be more to it.
I think she knows. She knows everything.
She knows stuff. Everything.
I think she knows everything that Megatron knows, at least as it pertains to information from the golden discs.
From the discs, yeah. Possibly more now because she destroyed the computer that had the info about the discs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
I didn't want to
backup.
download it to my brain because I didn't want to make room.
Because I didn't want to spend $300 on a storage expansion unit. No. That's almost the same prices that I paid for the console itself. Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Which is a thing I actually did.
Yeah, Christopher bought external storage for his Series X.
I have a Series S.
Oh, the Series S, yeah.
I have the cheaper one because that's the only one I could find.
Yeah.
I'll get a Series. I'll get a Series X eventually down the road.
When you need to.
I'm actually pretty happy with the Series S. I've had it for like two and a half months now, and I'm perfectly happy with its performance. Like I'm playing current gen games on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're in 1440p, just up-res to 4K. They all look good. Most of them still run at 60
If there's no
frames per
reason,
second.
then you have all the time in the world.
For now, yeah.
Hell,
like even Resident Evil,
even
Resident Evil Village, like as long as you don't turn on ray tracing, like runs great on it.
Oh, cool.
When you turn ray tracing on, though, that performance drops
to a smooth Beast
20...
Wars 5 frames per second.
It runs. Capcom alleges that that on the Series S, Village with ray tracing on runs at a consistent 30 frames per second. That is not true. Not at all. It runs at like
consistent.
20. It runs at like 20 to 25 frames most of the time when you got ray tracing on.
I don't believe you.
But if you don't turn that ray tracing on, though, it runs at probably about 50 or so.
How will you
frames.
see reflections of the light on the linoleum, Christopher? How could you possibly play through the game without?
I'm still not entirely sold on the importance of ray tracing yet.
I'm waiting for the day somebody goes, look, and shows me like back-to-back gameplay with it on and off where it like blows my mind.
Yeah, and I've watched a lot of like Digital Foundry videos that show like games like Control. They'll be like, "Oh, here's it with ray tracing on, here's it with ray tracing off," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool. The
It's a
lighting
little
and
prettier.
the
Yeah.
lighting and the reflections are more lifelike, but like it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't blow my mind. I would
Yeah,
much
it's
rather
not
just
like
have like stable performance.
hey, look, mud versus next gen. It hasn't blown me away
Yeah.
yet. No, it doesn't compare to the ray tracing on Beast Wars. That's for sure.
Well, that's not real time ray tracing, you see.
That's true. That's completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Feral Scream parts 1 and 2. Do we want to get into our ratings?
Yeah. So if you're listening to us, you probably know we've got the 3-tiered rating system, from not enough Energon to a sufficient amount of Energon to too much Energon.
Too
Christopher
much.
Siege, were these 2 episodes too much for you?
Both of them get a very dispassionate, sufficient amount of Energon. I don't know. I didn't really feel anything for these episodes. I kind of like the new Cheetor. I like the robot form of DinoClone. I liked the Frankenstein bit at the beginning of part 1.
Cartoonish moments scattered throughout.
Yeah. Cheetor's got a fucking rocket. He's like rocket propelled now, which is pretty dope.
Got a fucking rocket, people. What more do
Uh,
you want?
But yeah, I don't know. Overall, like I kind of felt nothing for these episodes.
The little on paper, it's like, ooh, like a clone of Dinobot is successfully brought back, and Cheetor goes through puberty, the late stages of puberty. On paper, I'm like, oh, cool, two new, um, quote or like
Toys.
new toys, yeah. But they're like you said, they're kind of, man, this season's not doing a lot for me yet. I would. The NeoCal rating is the first episode. Oh man, you know what? Both of them together get a on the cusp, pretty low sufficient amount of Energon.
Yeah. I think I've also got to kind of knock some points because the Transmetal 2 driver is not explained at all.
Oh,
What is
it's a
this thing?
magic orb that makes more toys. Yes.
Basically, like the show doesn't even try.
Oh, it's a
And like
magic artifact.
And like in season 2 and season 3, which I think have both kind of been mixed bags thus far, but like they've done a pretty good job of like setting something up in one episode that's going to pay off in a later episode. You couldn't have had like one little shot at some point in the past like 4 or
Season
5
or two
episodes of like
of that
Megatron just
orb
finding
sitting in
this.
the background.
Yeah, a Megatron just finding it somewhere, or like
Y-
more accurately, like Inferno finding it.
Or some, yeah, his trusted general.
Also,
Or
where's Tarantulas in all of this? He was
when
just
he showed up as part of the
he was just randomly
Predacons,
part of the team again last episode, but then he's just not here again.
I was like, isn't he not on good terms with Megatron? And then you were like, well, maybe because they both saw the vision of like G1 Megatron. I was like, okay, yeah, I can come around to that. And now he's just he's just gone.
Now he's gone again.
I
Yeah.
I guess. Man, or is it not enough Energon? Like, what is even there to give it a sufficient amount of Energon?
Optimus hilariously like crawling through the hallways of the
There's good
Axon.
moments. There's good moments. Yeah,
There's
there's good
amusing
moments.
moments.
Megatron like holding up the yikes sign and falling off the edge after being the Tasmanian devil. Yeah.
Yep.
And I like the weird little like relationship drama that it's very light on the episode, but I like the idea of a faux love triangle. So it's a low sufficient amount of Energon. From
Yeah.
both of us, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
And what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah. So that's been Feral Scream Part 1 and 2. Best way to support the show, wherever you're listening or watching this podcast, give it a like or a 5-star rating.
Or a ye old thumbs up.
Any
Does
and all
YouTube
of
still
that.
do that? I don't know. I don't remember.
The thumbs up. Yeah. You can still give it
Give
a
us
like or a
5
dislike.
stars on YouTube.
None of our
God.
videos have oh, star. Yeah, they haven't had the star system for years now.
Like 9 years.
Yeah. That was a while ago. If you want to follow me, you can do so on Twitter at Lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. Cal, you are
Neo_Cal, KAL on
also
Twitter.
you can also follow me on Instagram, at Christopher Siege. If you want to hear us talk more bullshit about other mainframe shows, we have a podcast called Alphanumeric where we do this, but we talk about mainframe's show Reboot. We also have a show called War Planets where we talk about mainframe's show Shadow Raiders. I'm also on another show called Based On, where we compare and contrast film adaptations and the books that they're based on. And I'm also launching a new show this Saturday called Cartoons at Night. Keep an eye out for that.
Exciting.
It's
And if you hate us, I post pictures of ducks and clouds. Christopher posts pictures of his Transformers and his selfies. If you hate us, but you like our voices, you can follow just the show at Too Much Energon on Twitter, and that's more streamlined. That just has the like Too Much Energon related posts.
sometimes I'll like respond. I'll forget which account that I'm logged into, and I'll respond to like one of the film critics that I listen to on podcasts. I'll be like,
And
"Oh
they'll be
wait,"
like, "Who the fuck is this?"
I'll be like, "Oh wait, I did that on the Too Much Energon account."
Yeah.
Yeah. Also Facebook, facebook.com/Too Much Energon. Relating to the show specifically, or facebook.com/lasercomb, which is about all of our podcasts.
All of our wonderful podcasts, which I am looking forward to joining you on one of the other ones. A couple other ones.
Yeah, we gotta record that episode of Cartoons at Night that we've been talking about.
That's going to be a good one. That was a good idea, launching that.
It's I've already got a couple of episodes of that show in the can, and they both turned out quite well. Even if one of the shows that we talk about, I very much disliked.
Did the other host also dislike it?
I'll tell you
I
about
can't
it.
wait to listen to that.
I'll tell you about it off air. We'll be back next week with episode 41 of Too Much Energon, where we talk about the 7th episode of season 3, Proving Grounds. We're almost through Beast Wars at this point.
This is so weird. It doesn't feel like we're almost done with it.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 episodes of Too Much Energon left dedicated to Beast Wars proper.
Wow. What? Wow, that is crazy.
Yep. And then yeah. So keep an eye out for that. It's getting pretty late, so we're gonna get out of here. I've been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
And I am your other host, NeoCal.
And until next time, Beast Mode.
Beast mode.